Palantir snubbed from S&P 500 index inclusion. The three companies that got added to the S&P 500 were CrowdStrike, GoDaddy, and KKR. We'll talk about what I think the reason for Palantir not getting included this quarter is and when it might happen, since it definitely isn't going to happen in Q2. When are they going to get that S&P 500 inclusion? We're going to get into that in this video. I'm excited to get into it, but first, if you're new here, I'm Austin. I'm a co-owner of CloudMusicSuite.com. I'm also a stock market investor, and most importantly for this video, I'm a Palantir shareholder. It is one of my top holdings in my portfolio. So I made a video earlier this week that Palantir could get included into the S&P 500 today, June 7th, 2024. That did not happen. Those three companies I talked about, GoDaddy, KKR, and CrowdStrike, were added instead. Palantir is moving down about 2% in the after hours, which is probably somewhat related to this lack of news and not getting included into the S&P 500 once again. Even though they've been eligible for multiple quarters now, they got snubbed once again. Stocks have to be profitable in their last quarter, profitable in their last 4 quarters combined, have a market cap above $8.2 billion, be a US company, and then be highly liquid. Those are the main things that Palantir had to do. They have had those for multiple quarters, and they're still not in the S&P 500. For the stocks that did get added, they're having nice pops in the after hours. GoDaddy's up about 3%, KKR is up about 9%, and then CrowdStrike is up about 6% as of recording this video. Those are all in the after hours after this announcement came out from S&P Global. That's that pop we wanted to see with Palantir because we've really been sitting range bound for a little while with Palantir stock price. So let's check out the EPS numbers with these companies. GoDaddy stock has been profitable for a lot longer than Palantir. They were profitable for a few years before 2020, and then they took a hit just like most companies did, and then they picked up back with profits in the second quarter of 2021, and they've been profitable every single quarter since then, with their EPS numbers totally exploding recently in the past few quarters. So that makes sense that they got added over a company like Palantir, who's been profitable for only about 6 quarters. KKR has been profitable for years and years and years, going all the way back to 2011. They've been posting profits, so that makes sense there. And then CrowdStrike, this is the frustrating addition here. CrowdStrike, yes, the market cap is way bigger at like an 84 billion, but CrowdStrike has only been profitable for 5 quarters in a row, and their first few quarters of profit were so small that they've only been eligible for S&P 500 inclusion, meaning they have to have the sum of their last 4 quarters being positive in order to be eligible. They pretty much just got that within the last quarter or two, and they get included in the S&P 500. This illustrates the point of why Palantir did not get the bid this time, and they're going to have to wait until September or December of 2024 or even later than that. And it's because CrowdStrike is one of Wall Street's darlings. Wall Street loves CrowdStrike stock. They're up 444% over the past 5 years. And since the S&P committee who decides who gets added into the S&P 500, it's just people. And since a lot of people don't like Palantir stock, it might be the case that those people who are on the S&P 500 committee are some of the people that don't like Palantir stock that much. It's a very controversial stock. Some people absolutely love it, think it's the game-changing company, is going to become a $1 trillion market cap in the future. And then some people hate the stock. They think it's going back to $5 anytime now, and it's just riding this AI hype. It's so starkly divided, and until that divide goes away, it's going to be hard for the S&P committee to be happy putting Palantir into the S&P 500. So what does Palantir have to do? They just need to keep being themselves. They need to keep coming in with beastly numbers every single quarter, and they need to grow that operating income like they have been for the past 6 or more quarters at an insane clip, so there's nothing bad to say about the net income numbers. Early on in Palantir's profitability story, they were positive on the net income because of interest income. That is not the case anymore. The operating income has eclipsed the interest income massively over the past 3 quarters, and they're just going to keep on growing that operating income, and they're going to keep the interest income nicely as long as those rates stay elevated from the Fed, but we're going to see the operating income go absolutely crazy. Palantir just needs to stay on their path, keep doing their thing, and index inclusion will come over time. Wall Street's view of Palantir over time is going to get better as long as they keep executing. You can't change the perception of your stock within just a few months or just a few quarters. It takes years of being an extremely consistent grower and playing Wall Street's games. Alex Karp, in my opinion, did not play Wall Street's games whatsoever at all early on in Palantir being a publicly traded company. Now he's playing the game a little bit more. He's saying the things they want him to say. He's talking about the things they want him to talk about. He's highlighting the stuff that Wall Street wants to see every single quarter in these quarterly reports. So he's got to keep playing Wall Street's game, get the sentiment around Palantir a little bit better, and keep on executing every single quarter, quarter in and quarter out, growing the net income very respectably and killing it on the operating income. I have no worries with Palantir. Obviously, not getting included into the index does not hurt the fundamentals of the company. I invest in Palantir for the fundamentals of the company. Yes, the valuation has been pushed a lot on Palantir, but that doesn't mean the fundamentals aren't in a great spot. When S&P 500 inclusion does come for Palantir, it's going to be a great day. This is a very high beta stock. So those moves we saw from the 3 stocks that did get included in the after hours, Palantir is probably going to be much higher than that because it's a much higher beta name, typically moves a lot more than the market. So I'd say we're probably going to have about a double-digit move once Palantir does get included in the S&P 500, but we're going to have to wait until Q3, Q4 of 2024, or even later than that. When do you think we're going to see S&P 500 index inclusion with Palantir? Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you being here in a major way. Thank you so much. Have an amazing night.